I'll go sideways.
What is going on, everybody? How's it going? We are here today with a man that needs no introduction at all. We got Austin from Mutation Creation.
What's up, guys?
What is up with that? That's awesome. Like, I'm honored. I'm like honored right now to be interviewing you. Like, you guys. I mean, I've only been doing this a year, but like, you were the first ones that I watched. I mean, I look up to you guys, like you and Billy both. Like,
Appreciate it for sure. I just want to say thanks for having me on the show. I
oh, dude,
love.
that's a pleasure.
Oh, thanks, man.
A pleasure. Everything you guys say, I'm pretty much on it. Just like topic that I wanted to talk about tonight is Billy's rant last week about people starting with low end snakes and expecting to make it. Man, I took it to heart.
Yeah, we've seen too many people. They put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it, but they just didn't not going in the right direction. And it discourages a lot of people after a few years when you're not seeing yourself be where you want to be, right?
Right?
So we're trying to go and push people to go in the right direction so that they can thrive in this hobby and make it to the top where they want to be, right? If they
Yeah,
still want to be
right.
a hobbyist, you could be a hobbyist, but if you want to turn it into a business, which most people do, there's definitely some ways to do it, and there's a formula to it, and just trying to help people.
Yeah, I talked about it on my last week's show, and I was like, the way I took it is, yeah, Billy was effing this and effing that, but you know what? He's passionate about this, and he wants people to make it. Like,
Yeah,
he's just fucking listen to me. You'll make it if you do, and I appreciate it. I appreciate tough love. That kind of stuff is just like keeps me glued to you guys.
yeah. Sometimes it's needed. Like sometimes if you tell people nicely, they're just thinking, "Oh, this guy's maybe he's not pointing me in the right direction." But the way Billy does it with all the emotion and stuff, he really wants people to succeed. Because if everyone succeeds in this hobby, everyone does, right?
Yeah,
Money circulates, right?
right.
And so does the smiles. So like when you see people smiling, having a good time with their collection, producing amazing animals, it's definitely a plus.
Right. So we got quite a bit of people in the chat. We're going to go through and say hi to a couple people. Celtic Balls, Jeff and Angie, they're good people.
Definitely.
Cole, how's it going, dude? Rudy from Moon Over Miami, he's a good
Oh,
dude.
he's a great, love that guy.
Surfworks, I don't know how to say it, but Surfworks, thanks for stopping by. Inquiline John, thank you for stopping in. TJ Ripping Reptiles. Them two, TJ and Greg, they're pretty new to this too. I have them on next week. They're good people. I got a chance to talk to them a little bit.
Yep,
They're really good people.
that's great.
Holly from Texoma Exotics. How's it going, Holly? Let me turn you blue. Everybody gets blue here. Paul, my homie Paul from Large Marge Morph. He's another cool dude. I don't know if you met any of these people, but these are people that help me out and it's been cool to me. So
No, it's
Paul
amazing.
is
It's good to
a real
spread
good
love in
dude.
the hobby.
905 Royals. He's a fellow Canadian. He's a good dude, Vern.
Yeah, I saw him today, 905. What's up, man?
Uh, doo-doo-doo. Man, chat's just popping. Bold Coast Exotics. How's it going? Thanks for coming in. You are now blue too. Lindsay from Pico. Me and her, we opened that snake that I sent you, like pictures of.
Yeah,
Me and
yeah.
her opened Pandora's box on that snake. We was like looking for like an hour just searching for things. I appreciate you, Lindsay. You and Jamie, cool people. Eric's More Factory, thanks for coming in. More Forge, thanks for stopping by. Turned you blue too. Rock on Reptiles, he's a good dude there too. Rock, he's all right.
All right.
More Forge Jamie, we got like tons of people in here.
Jeez.
Aaron Gamer, I guess. Game 4, something gamer. Aaron Gamer, thanks for stopping in. Don D, thanks for stopping in. All right. Third Eye Pythons, last one. That's a guy that's local from around here. He's a cool dude too. Thanks for stopping in. Let's get to just some brass tacks here. So I mean, I don't know. I read a article on Morph Market a couple weeks ago about
Mhm.
genes that are the same. And I've been trying to push it out there, and I'm getting a lot of no, 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 not this. That's not this. That's not that. So the ones that I've kind of heard a lot of questions about, I wanted to ask your opinion of,
Yep.
see what you thought of it. The biggest one is Blitz, Trick, and Hurricane.
Yeah. So those three, I'm not sure if they're exactly the same because I do see a lot of polymorphism between them. But I have seen some really nice Blitz that do look like Hurricanes. I see some really bad Hurricanes that look like Blitz because there is that stigma that Hurricane is the nicest out of the three and that
Yeah.
Blitz is like probably the second best. But I wouldn't be surprised if all three are just the same.
Both
And
up. What up? Yeah, right. Polymorphism is another thing I wanted to touch on. Like, how much do you think polymorphism actually has on a gene? Like, how much play? I mean,
oh, there's a lot, man. Sometimes you can get really nice examples of a gene. Like Orange Dream has a lot of polymorphism in it. So, and like some people are line breeding them, but
right?
I see polymorphism in a lot of genes and a lot of combos too. So depending if there's even a het involved, like hets can really change the look of a gene. So like especially het pied, if you look at all the leopards that are het pied and a leopard that's not het pied, the het pied drags the leopard like crazy and changes it. And sometimes you get leopards that are not het pied that also have the dragging and the chaining of the pattern. So polymorphism is everywhere, and that's why like even today we were talking about it. Like Elias was throwing some ideas out there for Husbandry Pro. Shout out to Lord of Lion, and he was saying like, wouldn't it be cool that we can just get a picture of the snake and then it would identify what genes are inside of it?
Oh, wow.
Like I think they have some apps like that for plants and even some like crystals and rocks. But
Yeah, for mushrooms. I have one on my phone for mushrooms. So, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So like stuff like that would be cool, but because of all the polymorphism inside of the ball pythons, like even us, like people who work with these genes for years and years, we don't get it right 100% of the time because of the polymorphism and just how subtle some changes are inside of the genes. So it's a really big toss up there. Like polymorphism, it's hard to identify some snakes, even though they are exactly the same genes. Sometimes it can even be a single gene combo, and they look totally different. So it's kind of just
Yeah.
the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. Another one that people kind of got big eyes over is lace, black back, green pastel, Lori is all het red exanthic.
I don't think Lace is going to be het red exanthic.
Lace backpack, not lace.
Oh, Lace Blackback. Okay, that looks a lot like het red exanthic. The Lori gene, I'm gonna go and say that's pretty much the same thing as het red exanthic. I haven't seen much difference between the combos and even the single genes, so they're marketed as different snakes, but I don't know if it's done purposely, if people are doing it. But to me, they're very similar and so similar that if you blindfolded me, put me in a room and said, pick one, you're gonna die if you don't pick it right, I probably wouldn't even pick because it's so hard to tell the difference between the two.
Right. So that one kind of surprised me because of Brian Barczyk, that Lori Jean, he came out with it. I mean, I like that guy too. He's got he does a lot for the community. And it's
Definitely.
just like, if he could get it wrong, anyone can.
I don't think he's getting it wrong is the thing. I think the gene might have just popped up randomly, or maybe he had something het red xanthic and didn't know it. So I don't know if it's intentional. I don't think Brian Barczyk would do it intentionally, but there's a few other genes where I'm like confusion, static, and acid. Hearing that they all three of them came from the same clutch,
Uh,
that's kind of like fishy for me because if you're buying a gene and changing the name, which I see people doing with the enhancers lately, it's kind of like fishy. I would definitely not partake in that. I'd rather keep the gene what it is, not
right.
try to change it for popularity reasons or even price reasons. Because people are also doing it with Desert Ghosts, changing them into enhancers. And you could definitely see the difference between a Desert Ghost and an enhancer. Like there are allelic, but so you have Krypton and Clown, they're allelic too. That's a little bit of more of a drastic change. But there's definitely different aspects in different genes. And when a gene's the same, call it what it is.
Right.
It's yeah, it's not
So
good to do.
speaking of cryptic, I mean, we knew Amur. I mean, it was out there that Amur was the same, but Gizmo is
Yeah,
also the same as cryptic.
I was just about to say Gizmo. Gizmo was The thing is, they were all popping out randomly at the same time. And I don't think anyone did it intentional with those genes, but I think now saying that it's impossible that they're the same and stuff, that oh it popped out of this, it popped out of that. You have them popping out everywhere. Like I even popped out cryptic out of some of my females that no idea that they were het cryptic. And I went away right away and called them cryptics because cryptic was the most prevalent gene of the three that I've seen.
Right.
So that's what I'm gonna call it what it is.
See, like I'm glad I posted this list on Instagram because when I posted it, the guy that actually published it through Morph Market got a hold of me, and we got into a long conversation about this. And I mean, I can't forget, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but it was really cool to have a conversation with the guy that put this list out. I mean, just
Yeah.
um, the how about toffee and candy being the same?
Oh, those look identical in my opinion. I haven't seen any real changes between the two, so and the way that they both react with albino, it's pretty safe to say that they're the same.
I said when I put this out there, they should just call it the coffee gene and leave it alone. It's a combination of both.
That'd be a cool name for sure.
All right, now Moray and Monsoon.
I think they're the same.
Now, do you
They,
still think Monsoon is possibly a codom other than recessive?
I think they're both codoms.
You think they're both codoms,
Yeah, just the way that they express visually in the het form,
right?
that is exactly what a codom is. So codoms is something that you can see. Like if you think about it, visual codoms and recessives are actually the same thing. So genetic wise, so like the supers are the recessives, the
Yeah,
hets are the codom versions. So
we got
yeah,
into this conversation. When was it? It was either last night or earlier today. We got in this conversation with anyone or with someone, and I was like, then why call them different? You know what I mean? Like, why change it now? Is my point. You know, you
yeah,
got people that's saying it's the same, it should all be considered the same, but why change it now? We're all so used to this format.
yeah. I think keeping it recessive and incomplete dominant is probably the best way, or codominant. It's a lot easier for new people and just easier to grasp, like when you're doing the genetic calculators in your head, all the Punnett squares and stuff. It's just easier to figure that 1 and 4 for the head to head and the 1 and 4 for the supers when you're breeding a pastel to a pastel. But mathematically, they still work out the exact same way. It's the same equation to go and see which one is which. So personally, I just think we could leave it the way it is, but just know that they do work very similarly. And if you can visually see a het consistently and they look way more different and it expresses itself, I think that it's safe to call it a codon for sure.
Right. See, that's what I was wondering, and you kind of just answered it. If, like, you put just say for pastel, for instance, you put pastel to something, three, good chance you get 3 out of 6 eggs. It's a pastel. And it's kind of the formula they say for a het. If you're just putting a het to a pairing, supposedly 3 comes out. Like,
In a perfect world, it would be three, right?
yeah,
The odds gods bless us and sometimes take stuff away from us, but in a perfect world, it works out the same way. So I think it's safe to say they're pretty much the same. Just they
right.
express themselves differently, and that's why we can go and differentiate what they are.
So, in your experience, when you take a het to something that don't have a het to where 50% is supposed to come out, have you pulled the 50% out that you've noticed?
Oh yeah, especially with the het monsoon stuff. Like I started off only with a het monsoon, and now I have like 50 or 60 of them, and that's from breeding that one het to things that weren't het and being able to go and pull them out. And this year, I'm breeding some of Billy's hets that actually proved out in their males to my hets, and it looks like we're gonna hit a lot of monsoons. So if you can pull
Oh,
them out like that, it's definitely a codom in my opinion.
the people that went out and bought it as recessive right now don't want to hear that.
I think it doesn't take anything away from the price of the project. It's not going to make it drop any faster. Look at Hurricane, right? The Hayabusas are still staying at their price point. That's because it's still the exact same odds to go and hit it as it would be if it was recessive, right? You still have to go and have the female Hurricane up to size and a male Hurricane, and you have that 1 in 4 chance. Same thing with the Het Monsoon. You have to have the Het Monsoon female up to size and a Het Monsoon male. And if I had bred a monsoon to a het monsoon, it's 1 and 2. If I bred a Hayabusa to a hurricane, it's still 1 and 2. So it's the exact same thing. I think that people are just too caught up in the name, co-dominant or incomplete dominant and recessive, and thinking, oh, if I don't market it as a recessive, the price of it's going to drop. You're still chasing the exact same odds. The super and the recessive are pretty much the exact same. So when more people are able to see that, I think that it will be classified as a co-dominant or incomplete dominant.
You know, when that conversation come up, I'm sitting there thinking in my head, like, and I spoke up real quick, and I kind of got stumbled on my words because, like, it was all going through my head, and I'm like, no, that's the same. No, no, that's kind of the same too. Yeah, yeah. Well, no, it's kind of the same odds. Like when it goes down and you play out, unless you put dominant genes into play. That I mean, what do you think makes a gene a dominant gene? Like,
When you can't
what
get
causes that?
when you can't have a super. So like, well, spider you
Oh,
can
all
have
right.
so spider you can have a super in, but the supers are lethal 9 out of 10 times. I have seen like one super spider make it to like 500 grams and then die. They're an all white snake. But in theory, if you were to breed that super spider, you would get all spiders. But since they do not work, and you can't have the super, it's just a dominant gene. You can't have that super, right? So even dominant genes, I'm not sure if there's any true dominant genes because I think the dominant genes are just supers that don't work
Right.
genetically. So it's like it's too many people just getting caught up inside of the lingo, not fully understanding it. Like there's nothing wrong with not understanding it, but educating yourself and then starting to understand it and even helping other people to understand, that's where things are gonna get a lot better and we can really go and work on preserving like the prices of projects and maybe like stopping these arguments where people are saying it's not recessive or it is recessive and just get ready back into breeding, you know? Too many people, too
Right.
many egos and people just don't want to get hurt. So
All right. Hey, Lexi, my daughter popped up. What's up, Jeremy? Thanks for stopping in.
Jeremy,
But now when I first got into this, like my head went to if I take two genes, like for say Orange Dream, you bring Orange Dream to Orange Dream, you get supers. Well, you take a Super Orange Dream and bring a Super Orange Dream, you get a bunch of Super Orange Dreams that are a little bit more better Orange Dreams. I'm
yep.
like, okay, will that work with every gene?
It should if they are able to produce the supers, right?
Yeah, because
So
I think I want to try it with gravel. That's
so you
been
just
on my mind to do super gravels and super gravel to super gravel and have a whole clutch of better looking super gravel.
I don't know if you get better looking ones because people would say like I'm a really big thing with line breeding instead of ball pythons. I don't think it works the same way as other snakes because I have seen amazing orange dreams make really ugly orange dreams, and I've seen ugly orange dreams make amazing orange dreams. So the quality of the gene doesn't really matter in my opinion because you can still pop out a really nice example and a horrible example. And even with the supers, I feel the exact same way. Unless you do have like a line bred trait, there is a couple people in the States, even like Aussie Boyd's high intensity line. And there was one more line I cannot remember off the top of my head, the deep orange dream line. And those are just insane.
Right.
Maybe he might have another gene attached to them or something, but from what I've seen and like I've tried breeding nicer orange dreams or even nicer enchies back and I produce ugly enchies from them. And same thing even with the het monsoons. I have het monsoons that look so crazy with the markers. And I bred it to other ones and I made het monsoons with barely any markers, but they still have the aspect of the het monsoon. So I'm not too sure if like if you really go and get that really high quality, if it's really going to shine through into all of the babies because genetics they don't work exactly that way.
They're weird. They don't want
They
to work
are
the way you think they should. They just want to work the way they want to.
like it's kind of it's really hard to get your head around.
Because there's nothing exact. There's no exacts.
Nope, and that's the
I
beautiful
mean,
thing about the world.
there's a million and one possibilities with it, and you could think of a million of them, and that one possibility that you didn't think of was what you could get.
Yep.
So, getting into some of the questions now, if you had to start this all over again, what projects would you invest in first?
So I think I would say pretty much to where I am now because I kind of did reinvent my collection already in the past. When I started off, I got a lot of Mojaves, a lot of pastels, cinnamon lessers, a lot of stuff like that. Something where everyone kind of starts off their collection. Spiders as well. And it's Bell Complex, pastels, and cinnamons. They're nice looking. They catch your eye. They're cheaper, and you think that you can make crazy stuff with them. But I would go and reinvest, and like I did the second time, and go get a lot of recessive females. I went out, me and Billy, we split a collection of clowns, and then ever since then, I was really focusing on recessive females, building that army of them, and then trying to add codoms into them with het males, or even buying het females for my recessive projects. And another thing is focusing, because when I first started getting back in reinventing my collection, I kind of run myself thin, and I had way too many recessive projects, especially for the size of my collection at the time. I probably had like 50 or 60 breeder females, and I had probably like 9 or 10 recessive projects, which is just way too much.
All right.
And I think if you have like under even 100 breeder females, you should really be keeping it down to four, maybe four key recessive projects, and maybe staying away from the codoms as just as codoms, right? If you do buy a codom, you have to have that dream and that plan of putting it into a certain recessive, maybe even a double recessive, and not just putting other codoms in it just to make cool looking snakes. Because you can do that and still have the het attached to it and have something else for the future that would have a lot longer longevity in your projects rather than just breeding a pastel to like a blackhead. You could have bred a pastel pied to that blackhead and made the pastel blackhead still, but have the het pied to it so you can make even cooler snakes in the future rather than just sticking to the pastel blackhead, right?
All right. See, kind of what I did is I'm using clown as a base recessive, and then I do have a lot of like one clutch females where I have a visual, and I'm basically using clown to go clown ultra male, clown hypo, clown. I want a clown het sunset het clown, so now I'm in that thing,
Nice.
and basically when I want to go triple when I hit these doubles, it's going to be fairly easy to do because I'm going to have clown double hets right off the bat.
And I think that's a great way to do it, right? So if you do end up making your clown, let's say you do clown pie and you're doing clown sunset, and you want to make that sound the sunset clown pie in the future, if you stick to that, if you do hit a sunset clown and the clown pie, you could breed those together in the future and then make a clown double head, like you were saying, and all your projects just come together in a really nice pool and work together to make your triple recessive projects and even your quads in the future. So like
Right,
thinking about that and planning like that way for the future is a really big and really great aspect of like how to build your collection and how to like longevity in this game, right? Because ball
right,
python is pretty much a game, and there's literally a mathematical equation to what you can do. There's many mathematical equations to it, and just figuring out which one. It's kind of like a Rubik's cube, you know. There's a lot of algorithms that you can do and patterns that you can do to go and actually like solve a Rubik's cube. Just depends how long you want to do it, how much money you have inside of the ball python game, of course, because you could obviously spend a lot more money and jump
right,
ahead of a lot of people. But if you don't have that money, it's gonna have to be a different algorithm or different like formula that you're gonna have to use to be able to go and get to where you want to be. So like going exploring those and listening to people who are willing to teach you those and like taking the advice and really taking it to heart, not just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do my own thing." Because a lot of people get caught up in that ego and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go do it. I know what I'm doing." If you take a look at life and say that you don't know anything and just listen to people who are actually doing it, you'll get a lot further than acting like you already know everything. Because when we know everything, that's when we tend to make the biggest mistakes.
sure, I could buy that,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm talking from my own experience as well. So I see a lot of other people doing it, and I've seen myself do it in the past. So sometimes it's better just to bite your tongue and just listen to the guy who's doing it and who's already done it, right?
Yeah,
Maybe you might be able to tweak it a little better, but they already have the basis for it. Take a look at it and look at where they are. Find a good mentor. That's a really good thing for the ball python game. Look at somebody who is where you want to be and just follow their advice. Like, you don't have to follow it to a T, but do as much as you can. Maybe take advice from a few people who are successful, but don't look at somebody who has been in the game for like 8 years and is holding back two gene females. Like you're gonna be setting yourself up for failure, right?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not going to throw any names out there, but there's people that's been on YouTube. There's breeders out there that's been doing this for years, and they're on YouTube, and they say to start out with like a pastel to a normal. And I seen that and was like, no, why do I want to do that? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just have enough business sense. I knew right off the bat, this guy is trying to keep people below him.
Oh,
And
100%.
I catch that real quick with people. You guys, I'm like, that's kind of just what just like draws me to just Billy's conversations because you could tell the guy cares and he's just telling you from his experience. Fucking listen to the guy, damn it.
No, 100%. And the, some people, I don't know if everyone's doing it on purpose, the people who are trying to keep people down. I hope, definitely hope not. But
I hope
once they
it's
get,
not on purpose because
yeah,
they're giving bad information.
especially in the older days, like a lot of the information that people are coming up to me, like even today, I actually sold a snake to some guy today, and he was telling me, oh, I can't breed my male till like 900 grams. Oh, the female, she has to be 1600 grams. And I'm like, that's definitely not the case, man. Like I have some males that are producing sperm at 350 grams. I wouldn't recommend putting him in at 350 grams, but
And
if you do decide to, you can, and I would just keep it to one or two females, and maybe wait till he's about 700 to 800 grams to push it to 3 to 4 or 5, because he can still produce clutches for you. You can get that gene into your projects a year sooner, and you just want to ensure that the males are still eating and the females are eating. Because a lot of people said, oh, don't even ultrasound your females until 14, 1600 grams. Now we're finding out 950 grams, even sometimes less, 850 grams, females are already producing follicles. You might get a smaller clutch the first year. Like we just had a clutch the other day here where the female was about 900 to 1,000 grams when we found out she had follicles. We started pairing. She was eating really good. She laid at around 1,300 grams, and we had 3 eggs from her. 3 eggs isn't bad instead of
no,
waiting another year to get 6 eggs. So let's say we got 3 eggs this year. Next year we breed her again. She's going to be back up to 1,300 grams when we start pairing her because we like to go and pair them again at the weight that they were when they laid. And by the time she lays next year, she'll probably be around 16 to 1,700 grams. We might get that 6 egg clutch. So look, in 2 years we got 9 eggs, or let's say even 8 eggs. And other people are going and only getting the 6 eggs, and they're putting
right,
themselves a year back because that first year that we bred, we have those holdbacks and those snakes that we sold, so we can take those funds to go and put into other projects. And those holdbacks are already that much bigger. You can even produce a male and have that male breeding by the time your girl's ready for her second season.
right. It,
So,
I asked you that question last night on you guys' live. Um, I had a female that didn't eat for 2 weeks. So I was like, all right, well, I got this 500-gram clown. I'm going to throw in with her. You know, I don't think he's going to lock to her. He just hit 500 grams like
yeah,
a week ago. Well, that dude went in there and acted like he knew what he was doing. And they've been locked together for like the last 2 days. Every time I look in there, they're locked together. And I mean, she was like 998 grams.
yeah.
So, I mean, I was like, all right, she's hitting the 1,000-gram wall. I'm just going to see if this works, put the mail in. But yeah, I mean, it locked and just, you know, it is what it is. Lady Tiz, how's it going? Shout out, Lady Tiz. Thanks
Ladies
for the hat.
tits. There's even a
Appreciate it.
lot of other things in this hobby, like the breeding season, right? I hope people weren't doing that to go and push people down and maybe like make them not breed as much as they possibly could, because I'm a firm believer that there is no breeding season, because we're with the ultrasound we have proven that, like we have females laying all year round, and we even have females double clutching in the same year. So they lay in January and they lay again either inside of October, November, or December. So you possibly within like a 4 year span, you might even be able to get 5 or 6 clutches, depending on how fast you're able to get her to get back up to weight and start building follicles again. And I don't know if it's bad for the snake. We definitely don't see a downside to it. I've had females lay 3 clutches in 2 years, and they're still thriving, eating amazing, and it's definitely helped me propel my projects to the next level,
Yeah, right.
especially with those key females, right? And all you gotta do is just take the money from that project, reinvest into a better male, and just switch up the male, and you can be making crazy combos that can go and fill your project or go and feed your project and keep it going up to the next level, right? Just keep building it up.
Yep. Keep building. You guys, do you keep track of the races between you and Billy? Like a number, like a record?
We did at first, but it's been such a landslide that we don't have to anymore.
You just know you're up ahead.
Yeah, I think this year we only cut 1 clutch so far, and Lord actually won that. Actually, Billy won that one, but between the three of us, Lord won with that Leopard Freeway clown. to the Pastel Leopard Freeway Clown, and hopefully it always starts off with me losing at the beginning of the year, and then usually about halfway through it evens out, and then I just come and kill it. So we'll see what happens this year.
Do you name any of your guys as snakes?
No,
You
we
have
do
too
not.
many. That's what I kind of thought. There's too many.
Yeah, I guess we could name a few. Like we actually have one or two that we name, but it's more like things that are like we had one Bubblicious. Like like sometimes in ball pythons you can get this thing where their eyes always bulge out and fill up with like a liquid. I don't know if it's an infection or something in them, but it looks like it comes from their mouth. And it was a banana freeway, and we had her named Bubblicious.
Hmm.
And she's no longer with us, but she was with us for a long time, growing, eating perfectly, even though she had that. And we have one with no eyes right now, but we just call it no eyes, so we don't really
Wow.
name them other than that.
Um, what pairing have you done that just like totally disappointed you?
Pairings. Okay, so I had a crazy clutch last year. The pairing disappointed me for the wrong reasons, okay? So I did a was it? Yeah, pastel quad het hypo rainbow xanthic pied to an Enchi quad hit rainbow xanthic hypo pied
Wow.
and actually hit a pastel Enchi rainbow hypo pied, possible hit xanthic, and then I hit and rainbow snow hypo het pied was also pastel Enchi, and they both did not make it. So every rainbow I hit in the clutch didn't make it. I don't know if it's a genetic defect in the rainbows, maybe since they were both quad hets, very similar related. The
Huh.
I don't know if it was genetics, so I'm trying to outbreed them, and I actually have a female gravid right now. She's a pastel, and she triple het triple het hypo rainbow pied, and she was paired to the quad het, and she quad het BPI rainbow hypo pied, and hopefully this time I can hit it and it doesn't die. But it seemed like every single rainbow, everything else in the clutch survived perfectly, but just the rainbows did not make it. And I don't know if it's something in the rainbow gene, but before this live, I actually told you I had to go put a clutch away, and that was the clutch between me and Billy, where we did my pastel Enchi hypo rainbow male to his pastel super Enchi double het hypo rainbow. So I think that's gonna go and show us if it is really the rainbow gene, because I know other people have produced rainbow stuff. Like we have Muscle Serpents University, or yeah, Muscle Serpents University. Dave Palumbo, he has a whole bunch of really cool rainbow stuff and he's not having any issues that we can see with it. Maybe he is, he's not telling anyone, but I'm being totally transparent with it. I like to go and tell people, just like people inside of the Scaleless project, we've never seen a female on eggs yet, and to sell a Scaleless female and tell people, oh, it'd be really cool to see what you can make with her. I'd hate for someone to go and do that
Right.
and never be able to breed, kind of like the caramel females, how they all slug out or they get egg bound. So I think being transparent and stuff is really cool, and that was just probably the biggest disappointment in any pairings I had last season.
Yeah, that would bum me out. I'm sitting there thinking about like, man, to hit that and see it and then lose it. Oh my God,
It was,
I'd be sick.
I have the clutch video coming out soon, and it was insane. The snake, like the purples, they weren't even purple, they were very blue and
Wow.
just very bright and vibrant. So it's hard to say what's gonna happen
See,
in the
I held
future.
off on Rainbow because I was like, there's got to be something that's up with this gene because it looks awesome with everything. Like,
Yeah,
there has to be something that's going to ruin it.
to the next level, right? So, like, it definitely gives Banana a run for its money. It's recessive as well, recessive again, and but you can't see you can't see it in the het form, really. But there is some nice flaming in there when you do have the hets. But I really like to see the project thrive, and I'm hoping that with this pairing, maybe it was just an incubation
Yeah,
issue.
I really hope it was something fluky.
Yeah, but I've had a few other people reach out to me with like double and triple recessive projects with the rainbows and saying the same thing. It might be just the inbreeding, and we have to outbreed them a little bit more because, like other people who have had the same issues, I did start off with a double recessive male, and even to get that double recessive male, it would have to be inbred just to get to it, right?
Right.
And prob it's I think there's probably a few generations of inbreeding within my stock, so we're gonna see exactly what it is, especially now that I have a half outbred. So we're doing a half brother to a half sister. So hopefully this time, fingers crossed, I hit it and it's looking good.
Yeah, right. Fingers crossed
Yeah,
for you on that one for sure.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to hold off on rainbow for now, for sure, until you guys figure it out. I'm going to let you do all the work.
Yeah, so we should know in about 56 days because I just put the clutch into the incubator literally 5 minutes before the live started. So
Nice,
we'll see.
nice. So, what pairing surprised you the most?
Oh, I'm not even too sure. I had a lot of surprising pairings this year. Probably probably a lot of the Het Monsoon stuff, to be honest, because I hit a lot of tides that are possible Het Monsoon, and just the wacky and crazy patterns that have been popping out of them. I definitely wasn't expecting like some of the ways that it looks, and a lot of the polymorphism in there too, because a lot of times I've only had the possibility to hit special and normal pieds, and some of the normal pieds do not look like special pieds, and they don't look like other Het Monsoon pieds I've made, but they still look really dark and wacky. Some of them look bright and wacky, so I don't know what's going on in there, but some really cool polymorphism going on for sure.
How much do you think polymorphism affects things? Like, is there a lot of it around, and people's not writing it off as that, or
I think it's quite a bit, especially like sometimes you can get some combos that look very similar, but we hit some combos that look exactly the same and or or exactly the same genetics and look totally different. Like there's no possibility for any other genes, and we're just like, what the heck is this? Especially with the Het Monsoon things. Once again, because I have some pastel pied possible Het Monsoons. They don't look like any other pastel pieds, and some
Mhm.
of them just have the richest orange colors with this crazy speckling everywhere and just really weird just pattern everywhere. And you have other ones that don't have the same color but still have that really wacky pattern and some other similar stuff. So it's hard to say, right? I just think it depends what gene you're working with. I notice leopards are one of the most polymorphic genes for sure, especially with the hepide floating around in them. Even without the hepide, you can still get the chaining like I was saying earlier, and or you just get really nice circles and donut patterns, right? Those alien heads.
Right. The only other questions I have for you, and then if you want to show some snake, we'll show some snakes. They're just like kind of multiple choice questions.
Let's do it.
So, hypo or DG?
Uh, I'll go with I'll say enhancer.
Okay, all right.
It's
Well, the next question was DG, Enhancer, or Sahara?
I haven't even heard of Sahara to be honest. I'm not.
It's a, it's on Morph Market. It's just another so-called line of DG and Enhancer. Go
See,
figure.
yeah, this is the thing with me. I'm not even earlier. You asked me about the Huffman, right? And
Right.
Huffman is a gene that I every time I see a new gene, unless I really see it doing something like the Bambino gene, that's a gene that I'm keeping an eye and looking out for because that really does a lot of stuff. But more of
Huh.
these subtle genes or genes that look like new, like genes that are already here. Like you have the Mario, it looks exactly like the Jungle Woma stuff.
Right.
And stuff like that, like I'm just keeping away from, not even looking in that direction. So I'm gonna have to choose Enhancer, but Enhancer and Desert Ghost are definitely different, and I can actually show you guys today why I say they're different, because there's some really big differences between them, not only in colors, but even the way that the blushing is between them, and sometimes even the pattern. I noticed that Desert Ghosts tend to be a little bit more muddy and dirtier, and not as clean as the Enhancers.
Cool. I'd like to see that. GHI Lesser or GHI Mojave?
I'm a GHI Mojave guy myself, but I do like a good GHI lesser, depending on how nice the grays are in them, because I do like those gray snakes. There's a lot of really nice dark snakes, and I do like the contrast between that dark color on the GHI Mojave and that nice dorsal stripe. But the grays sometimes, especially in the hypo versions, I'm all for the GHI lesser.
Yeah, there's some instances where I would say GHI Lesser over GHI Mojave for sure.
Yeah,
Um, Dance or not dancing?
I don't dance.
Um,
Well, I don't dance well.
okay. Beer shots or a mixer?
Oh, I'm not really a drinker to be honest, but I'll go for the mixer.
I, well, you said you stopped smoking, so that last question we don't even need to ask. Okay, let's show snakes.
Okay, so right now I'm just out in the main room out here,
We're
and
gonna put you on solo then.
okay, I'm gonna see if I could turn my camera around. It's gonna turn off the fan in this room. But if I can't, I'm gonna try propping you guys up in a way. I'm just gonna go run over there, grab some snakes, and then run back. So I know one that you asked me to show right away was that GHI lesser spot nose clown. And this guy has been eating like a beast. He's probably around 250 grams right now. 200 to 250 grams. And this guy is just insane looking. It'd be really nice if I could turn my camera around. So let me see if I can do that. Oh, that's not how I do it. Looks like I'm gonna have to give it like this to you guys. But this guy is just insane. He looks a little bit pissed right now. He's definitely huffing and puffing at me, but I really like his colors. It almost looks like he has some chalk tones inside of him. And just the overall pattern is not what I expected when you add spot nose into the GHI lesser clown.
See, I thought you was gonna cover me there. I went and peed, so I missed the last 2 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just showing you guys this. I try to turn the camera around, Ken, but it doesn't look like I can. So I'm gonna have to go and show you guys blindly the snake. So let me know if the snake is not focused in the picture or anything. Maybe I could turn it sideways and give you guys a little bit of
Oh,
a
that
better
looks
view.
better.
It looks better.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to get the snakes in the shot. It's inverted for me. But this guy is just insane. He's around 200, 250 grams, and I really like the way he's looking right now.
You said that was a GHI lesser spot nose?
Spot nose clown. Yep. The only other
Nice.
possibility in the clutch is Blade, and I'm not too sure if Blade is in this male. But he's this is horrible. I cannot get the right camera angle for it. But here he is. He just looks really cool.
Yeah, he's a nice looking snake for sure.
Yeah. I want to show you guys some pickups with the enhancer stuff that I got recently too. And you guys gonna have to see me run back and forth because all my stuff is above this orange line that you're seeing over here. So for some of it, I am gonna need a ladder to go and grab. But I'm gonna show you guys some enhancer stuff. I can show you guys some DG stuff too and Ultranol stuff that I've been picking up.
We don't mind waiting on you, Austin. Go do what you got to do.
I appreciate that, man. And here's probably one of the nicest enhancers that I picked up this year. And wow, just had a really nice clean shed she did. So she's gonna look really bright. And oh, don't bite me. But here we have a vanilla lesser enchi enhancer. And this girl, I just love how
Okay.
faded she is and how clean her pattern is. And if you look at her head, oh, if she's gonna show us her head, she is just
Oh,
insane looking. And the thing I like about the enhancers and how much yellow they bring in compared to the Desert Ghosts. Desert Ghosts are really bright and they hold the blacks a little bit better than the enhancers do. But for me, it's all about popping that color and making that yellow just stand out right
right.
here. So she's just an amazing snake, and she's also 50% head for hypo, and I think 66% head for G stripe. So hopefully she can go improve out for those, and then I can make some really cool hypo enhancer stuff in the future. But once again, she just looks insane.
I just picked up two snakes that are the orange ghost line of hypo, and I'm
Nice.
I'm kind of impressed with it.
Yeah, Orange Ghost is probably one of my favorite lines of hypo. Whoops, I'm flipping the camera for you guys.
We'll get
And
dizzy. It's okay.
hopefully no one has motion sickness. And oh, this girl has some poop on her face. But this is a pastel Enchi enhancer, and she is looking really cool. You might notice right away, doesn't have as much blacks as the Desert Ghost once again. You can see that poop on her head right over there. Definitely not ashamed of it, but she looks amazing. And it's really bright and yellow. You can definitely see compared to my hand over there how yellow she is. And then I'm actually going to go into the other room since I keep talking about the differences between Enhancer and Desert Ghost. I'm going to go get the nicest Desert Ghost female that we have and the nicest Enhancer. Or I can just get any Enhancer really. And I'll show you guys what I'm seeing. Let me just find a really nice Enhancer to compare to.
Shout out to Bomb Projects. You got a shirt on? Shout out
Oh
to
yeah,
Bomb.
Bomb Projects. They are the bomb for sure. If you guys are
KG's
not
got some
following
stuff.
KG and D, go and check them out. It's gonna be a little bit hard. We did feed everything today, so today was feeding day. But this would be a really good example. So I have a pastel desert ghost over here, and then I'm just gonna run over and grab the pastel enhancer real quick.
Thank you
Also,
so much for doing this. That's cool.
kind of put them side by side. They're about the same size too, so you guys, I'm not gonna hear anyone say, "Oh, one's bigger, that's why it looks nicer." But let me just see if I can find where the pastel enhancers are. We just shifted everything over, so it's gonna take me about a second or two to find them. But I might as well show you the pastel desert ghost. In the meanwhile, you see how nice the dark colors are still inside of it, held
Yeah.
all those blacks. And if I can go, if she wants to show that her head or his head,
The enhancers kind of look like a gray.
yeah, it actually fades out all those blacks and makes them that much more yellow in the dorsal. So let me see.
See, I like the gray snakes, the gray look on snakes.
Yeah, I also like the yellows. When the yellows pop on a snake, it looks that much better in my opinion. Because yellow is just one of my favorite colors. So is purple, and that's why I like the Ultramel so much compared to the Monarchs. Wow.
I'm an
You know what?
ultramel guy as well, but I'm putting it straight to clown.
That's the best way to put it, man. Actually, I'll show you guys. I picked up a breeder female Ultramel clown, and she's actually gravid right now. So, oh shoot, I'm giving you guys a nice little flip around. I just gotta go on to Husbandry Pro. Shout out to Husbandry Pro. If you guys are not using that, go and check it out. I think it's free up to like 6 or 9 snakes. And I'm just gonna go and find
I
the.
have like 22 snakes right now, and I could pretty much keep track of that all in my head.
Yep.
But I mean, that's not too many. If I hold back as many holdbacks as I want, then I'm going to need something.
Oh, definitely. I have to go to the other computer. So we have two computers here. We just moved one around. So I'm just gonna have to go to this one real quick to go in. I wish I was better equipped for this. Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. Take your time.
Just gonna sign in, and I'll tell you exactly where the pastel enhancers are. That's why it's so much easier having this rather than going around and searching for stuff.
That would be easier just to go to the computer, just like, where's this at? And go to
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Answer. Oh, this one is sold. Hopefully
I
they
do
didn't sell.
believe that you and Billy got Husbandry Pro out there because a lot of people were talking about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good gene. Wow, it actually looks like Billy sold both of the pastel enhancers that he had. What are the odds of that? But I do know in the new collection we might have one, so damn, I really wish he didn't sell them. Let me see if I can find one really quickly. So if you guys want to see what I'm looking at, I'm just reading all the tags over here. This is the new collection that we got, and I'm just trying to go and search for pastel enhancer in there. But since you like the gray snakes, I might as well pull this one up for you and show you really quickly.
Thank you.
This is a super pewter, and it just looks insane. Still figuring out this camera angle here. So I'm just gonna pick it up. This
Dude,
is
I'm
a
terrible at showing snakes on here, so that's
yeah, it's a
pretty
little
cool.
yeah. This is a pewter or super pewter, so super pastel, super cinnamon, and it's possible het for pied. I think it might prove out with all the ringers and stuff on it, but really cool snake. And I kind of wish I had a webcam so I could just turn it around for you guys and show you the proper way. But this snake is just insane looking. Gray snakes are amazing. And I'll throw that one back up there.
Since
Damn.
I think that Orange Ghost, that one that I sent you, is a Huffman HRA, I want to get like another allelic in that complex, and I was thinking about getting an 8-ball head hypo or something for it.
Oh, that would be insane. 8 ball stuff is really cool. I really like the supers. Oh, here, finally I found a pastel enhancer. Okay, she is in shed, but you can still see the difference right away.
We knew he was
So
going to run in that sooner or later.
yeah, so here she is, and if you look in the back right away, you can see how much more blushed out the dorsal is. So if you see in the dorsal, we're having those really nice tones coming through. And when she's out of shed, trust me, this thing is really bright and yellow. But if I was just to go and put it in shed on the floor next to the, it's a little bit hard to see, but even in shed, how similar they look.
Yeah,
That gives you, and this one is very deep in shed, like
and it's
her
brighter.
colors. Yeah, so if she wasn't in shed, you would really go and see how much more the enhancer pops than the Desert Ghost stuff. This one's trying to wrap around my leg right now.
It's not really changes the pattern, it just changes the tone of it, the yellow.
Yeah, so this one it depends really. I've seen some enhancers really clean, just like some of the Desert Ghosts, but I've noticed that most of them tend to have a little bit less of the alien heads that you're seeing in here compared to some of these guys, where if you look here, almost every single one has a circle in them
Right.
or a dot. So the enhancers just tend to be a little bit more cleaner. And if you look at that dorsal, it's just so much more blushed out.
Yeah.
And then another difference that we're noticing between them, one second, let me just get this bin back in here, is actually the way that the enhancer expresses its head. So a lot of the Desert Ghost stuff, like I'm just gonna pull a normal Desert Ghost out for you guys in a second. They have this really cool head stamp on them, but if you look at the enhancer stuff, they don't have that same head stamp. They actually have a full head blush that goes all the way into the neck of the snake, all the way back just to where the neck is. So if I go and pull out one of my DG females right now, because I do have both. I was gonna go and stick just to the enhancer stuff, but the Desert Ghost is just a little bit further progressed. And if you look at the head over here, you see how there is, whoops, that head stamp or the head blush just in the middle,
Yeah.
and the back of the head is all black or darker.
Yeah.
When I go get an enhancer right now, one second, and they stay that way all the way into adulthood, the Desert Ghost stuff. If I were to go get just a normal enhancer right now, let me see. Here we go. It's a great example of one. If you look at the head on it, it doesn't have that head stamp, and the blushing actually goes all the way back into the neck, as you guys can see there.
Yeah, it
So,
goes back into like the side pattern almost,
yep.
where the
So,
other one stopped and got real dark right at the edge of the head.
yeah, and that I've seen that very consistent across all the Desert Ghost stuff, and most of the enhancer stuff, or I actually haven't seen an enhancer that does the same thing as the Desert Ghost. Every single one has that really bright neck stripe going all the way back from the head. You can even see in the sides here all the really nice flaming coming up. There's no yellow belly inside of this at all. That is all the het enhancer. That's just the regular enhancer stuff.
Huh.
And even with the hets, I've noticed the het enhancers tend to be a lot brighter than some of the het Desert Ghost combos.
Right.
So I don't know if it's just because the extra yellow that the gene brings in, or something else is at play. So we'll definitely see. But here, I'll just pull out an adult Desert Ghost female just to show you guys that even as adults, they still have that head stamp.
Greg, I sent him pictures of it, and he said he don't know Huffman too well, but he liked it.
Oh, it looked amazing. I just
Yeah,
never.
that blushing's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, this girl's going a little crazy right now herself. But if I can go and show you her head, it has blushed out a little bit more, but you still see that really darkness around
Yeah.
where, yeah, it still has that head stamp, right? Where the enhancer has that head blush that's consistent all the way through the neck. So that's one of the main differences that we're seeing. And if I just show you the back of the snake, you can see how dark and how well it kept its blacks. This is an adult female Desert Ghost, and it kind of it's a little bit muddy, the pattern. You see how it doesn't have those really nice yellows. And when I go right, actually I'll bring her over, but when I go over and show you guys an adult enhancer, let me just find one real quick.
Getting your exercise in today.
Oh yeah, no need to go to the gym later.
Nope, steps are in.
Yep. Let me see
No,
if I can.
I'm not questioning it being Mandarin at all. I didn't really think it was Mandarin. It was just making me go, because the only thing I could find orange nose stripes on was Mandarin. But then Lindsay from Pico Pythons pointed out black pastel and other 8-ball complexes and orange ghosts will get orange nose stripes.
Wow, it actually looks like I was looking for the original enhancer female, but I did realize that she's actually at Nasty Morph's collection. And big shout out to Nasty Morphs. You guys are not following them. They're great. You got Trevor and you got Nate. It's a father-son duo. Go and check them out. They have like Monsoon. They're making Sunset Clowns and stuff. They
Wow.
got some craziness. But yeah, here is another enhancer female, but this enhancer actually has another gene inside of her. So it wouldn't be the best to compare the two, but as you can see once again, this thing is just a whole lot brighter. I'm just gonna put them both on the floor real quick. So this has kind of like a dinker gene inside of it, but you can see all the blacks are just faded into that gray color
Yeah,
compared to the Desert Ghost right
darker.
next to it. And this actually has a gene that makes it darker. So
Huh.
this kind of has like a chocolate gene inside of it, and it's still more brighter than a normal Desert Ghost. And let me just get her head out so you guys can see that, because her head is amazing. Has some really nice oranges in there and really
You don't
nice
want
bright
to.
colors. Yeah,
Oh,
she's just, but you can see her head. Oh, okay, she does not want to go and show her head at all.
I seen it a second. It
There we go.
glowed.
Yeah, her head definitely looks a lot. Well, this guy's just going everywhere too. They don't like being on the floor. But right there, if you guys can see that,
Yeah.
blushing all the way back into the neck is very consistent. And then once again, if I just hold them side by side, you can see the difference between the two. This one's wrapped around my leg right now. Doesn't want to let go. But yeah, so the Desert Ghosts do hold the blacks better, but they don't have those same tones that the enhancer can bring in. The enhancer just brings in really nice yellows, blushes it out that much more, and of course gives you a lot better of a head rather than the head stamp that you get from the Desert Ghosts.
See,
I'm just
what
gonna,
that got me thinking is like if I'm working, because I really want to just work nothing but double and triple recessives. I don't even really want to work singles. I want to work doubles.
mhm.
But an enhancer would go better per se with like Ultramel, and then I still think Desert Ghost will probably go better with Clown.
Actually, I've seen enhancer clowns, and I think they're a little bit better than
Okay. Well,
than
maybe
the
that was
Desert
a
Ghost.
bad example. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I think when you're working double recessive, the lighter, brighter snakes are going to look better with enhancer, to where the darker snakes are going to look better with Desert Ghost.
yeah, I definitely think that could be the case. Unless you do like to see those blushed out tones, because right now I'm actually gonna pull this snake out. Trying to get a little bit of stuck shed off her for you. She just shed out and has a little bit more on her back. Almost done. Don't worry, girl. But right here we have an enhancer pied, and we've had some people from the States come over who actually produce in Desert Ghost pies and says that this looks almost like a pastel Desert Ghost pied, and this is just a normal enhancer pied. There's nothing else inside of the pairing,
Huh.
and it is just super bright. Like you guys can probably see, it's glowing right now. And this is about 700 to 800 gram enhancer pied, and yeah,
I
a
have a
lot.
2,000 gram normal pied that I bought. It was my first snake. I bought it as a normal, but I don't think it's normal because it's fully grown and it's got more oranges in it now than it did when I got it.
Yeah, this could be polymorphism, but I doubt it with that one. If it has a lot of oranges, could be orange dream, maybe
It's
even
the
another
saddles.
gene.
All the saddles are outlined in orange. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's the thing with some recessive genes, you can really get a lot of polymorphism. And I'm just flipping you guys around like crazy. Sorry for the motion sickness. And then another snake I'll show you guys real quickly is this breeder Ultramel clown girl. I really
Yeah,
wish I had a
bold
better.
toast. I get a little antsy to breed too, but patience. Just have patience.
Patience is key. And right here I have a adult. She's actually gravid right now inside of this FB40 tub, I believe. This is a Blade Ultramel clown, and she's just looking amazing. Can't wait to go and get some babies from her. I'm not gonna say the pairing. I don't want to spoil anything. You guys can go and check out my channel And then
right?
about, yeah, in a couple of months, I should be doing the egg cutting. Everything's going to be ultra male, and there's going to be some double, maybe triple heads, possible triple heads. We'll see what happens. So it's a really cool project, ultra male clown. I really like
Yeah.
how even into adulthood, her colors are still amazing. It's not browning out like the monarch stuff does. Because as a adult monarch clown, I'm pretty sure it's going to be really dark and black in the dorsal. It could give some more contrast, but for me, I really like these nice tones that Ultramel brings in. And there's
Right.
also blade in here too, so it's changing the colors a little bit, but it doesn't change it that much. So here
So
she
one of
is.
the pairings that I'm hoping to hit after I get holdbacks is I'm hoping to produce a spot nose gravel clown that's het for ultramel,
Oh
and
yeah.
then a ultramel black pastel gravel that's het for clown. And I want that to be my first pairing. Could you imagine like a super gravel spot nose black pastel ultramel clown?
Oh, and I definitely couldn't. That would just be insane. Like I think the Super Gravel Ultramel was really nice and really orange, and getting the clown into it, seeing the Super Asphalt clowns that even we produced here at Mutation Creation, the pattern on it is amazing with the colors. And getting Ultramel into there will just take it to the next level, bringing all those purples and those really nice oranges. And then,
Nice.
yeah, right here is a pretty cool pairing I have. They're actually locked right now. This is an Orange Dream Ultramel female. I don't know. Whoops. They're Orange Dream Ultramel female. And this is a pastel, if the colors will focus, pastel, lesser, mahogany, orange dream, yellow belly, fire clown. So a super orange dream, like 6'7" gene, double heads. Just trying to make some crazy stuff for the future. Hopefully I can
See,
be female heavy for that clutch.
right. I don't have like a buttload of jeans going in like to my clutches. I only have like two or three, maybe two, like maybe four.
Hmm.
But I mean, if I hit the right thing, and hit it in the right, male female ratio and hit the right things, I could possibly have some really nice stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like, I hope you were able to get female heavy, right? That's what you want when you're making these doubles and triple recessive heads.
Yeah. Right.
Here's a female I have gravid right now too. She's actually, oh, she's not gravid yet. She's at like 26 millimeters. It's an Enchi blackhead, double head ultramel clown, and she's being bred to a spot nose yellow belly ultramel het clown. So hopefully, if I'm lucky, I can hit the spot nose yellow belly blackhead ultramel clown, and maybe even the Enchi on top of it would just be amazing.
Yeah. Right. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at an hour. I mean, I appreciate you coming on 100%. That's awesome. Thanks for the show. I mean, the snakes. Um, yeah, this was great, and I'm stoked.
Well, thanks for having me. Sorry about all the flipping of the camera and the bad camera angles on the snakes. I wish I could show you guys better, but I will make a whole bunch of new videos with all the new pickups I picked up. And so go subscribe to Ken's channel, subscribe to my channel and Mutation Creation channel. All three great channels. We're gonna have a lot of content out. Ken's gonna be deep doing a whole bunch of new interviews. Check out next week's interview. Who was it again?
TJ and Greg from Rippin' Reptiles.
Rippin' Reptiles. Check them out as well. So thanks so much for having me again, Ken. It was a
Hey,
blast.
anytime, dude. This was basically a dream of mine. Like when I first got into this, I was like, man, it'd be great to just interview someone like Austin, and then here I am doing it. And I was so nervous at first, but it's just another guy that's breeding snakes.
Oh
That's
no,
all.
I'm
That's
just a
all.
normal. I'm just a normal guy, man. Like
Yep.
most people are in this hobby. Anybody who has a big ego, check yourself. Don't wreck yourself. Just calm down a bit. Just, we all love snakes together, so show off what you have. Show off your, give up some knowledge, and be humble about it. It's the best thing I can say.
All right. All right, guys, we're going to end this live here. I'm probably going to pop back on in probably a half hour or so for an after party. Stay tuned. Check it out. Catch you later.
Peace out.